What's your approach to designing games that tackle significant social issues?
Mostly, I guess, that I don't really. Of the games that I've written that tackle significant social issues, well, I mean, first you have to decide what is a significant social issue that you want to talk about. A lot of things I just like to incorporate and have in game worlds because they make sense. Or they add conflict to the world, but the intent isn't necessarily to tackle significant social issues, it's just that they exist. Like any realistic-ish world should have bigotry, it should have prejudice, it should have racism, it should have wealth and poverty, it should have altruism and selfishness, it should have all of these things in it. And these things should go further and be more interesting than they are in real life, because they should be different. There is a plotline in Nemesis the Warlock. I'm going somewhere with this. There's a plotline in Nemesis the Warlock where Torquemada gets overthrown or is presumed to be killed, and someone else takes over as Grand Master of Termite, which is Earth in that world. And he starts to approach a sort of détente with aliens, because Torquemada was viciously xenophobic about aliens. So this guy introduces a sort of rapprochement with aliens, allows some of them to visit Earth. This is a big change, and it's very controversial, and all kinds of social problems start up. So he consults with the Grand Bigot about what the problem is and what is to be done about it. And he suggests that the solution is to find someone else for people to hate and to pick on instead of aliens. And they settle on freckled people. Right? So while Nemesis the Warlock is making a commentary originally by having humans versus aliens, making humans the baddies, making comments about racism and xenophobia and so on, it uses the allegory of aliens. And then later on, where they have this kind of glasnost with aliens, it shows a power group cynically exploiting the idea that what people really need to bring them together is someone else to hate, and how arbitrary that can be. They just decide to pick on people with freckles, right? So I think interesting worlds should contain these kind of bad things as well as good things, and then if the players want to do something about it in the game, that's up to them. But if you're going to tackle the social issues, I think it's better that they either arise organically or we approach them through allegory, freckled people, or we use some kind of artistry to it, you know? I've done a few things which I guess addressed social issues, like I wanted to raise awareness, as the kids say, about mental health issues, so I wrote Imagination. But again, it's kind of mostly allegorical. It's a little bit on the nose here and there. I wrote The Little Grey Book to talk about the social media panopticon and how you can't possibly please everybody, or indeed anybody, particularly if they're constantly looking out for reasons to criticize you. That's one of my most overtly political games. Privilege Check, card game where you competitively construct an identity looking for the most points to place you at the top of the progressive stack. That is a criticism of the hypocritical bigotry of the pseudo-left. That's another explicitly political project. Election Party is a card game again, where you play candidates who are standing for election, and you have to try and find justifications and so on for policies, many of which are absurd. And then there's other stuff which kind of obliquely comes at social issues, like Actual Fucking Monsters, which addresses the kind of gutless timidity of a lot of games, even horror games, of a lot of media come to that, and horror media in particular. But it's not particularly activisty about it, other than the fact that it exists. That's really the only controversial or out there thing about it. So I think my work speaks for how I tackle it, with a bit of humour, some artistry, allegory, working at multiple levels, or having it just arise naturally out of the content. I think when you explicitly set out to tackle social issues, then, you know, and I'm guilty of this too, I think you run into the Christian rock problem, where the message overtakes the medium, overtakes the art. The quality of whatever it is that you're doing becomes secondary, and so the art suffers. This doesn't always happen, it's not a hard and fast rule, but it happens often enough that I think deliberately setting out to create propaganda rather than entertainment is generally deleterious to the content.
It's time for you boys to share my last taste of the true black meat, flesh of the giant aquatic Brazilian centipede.